Well, hello, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about the book called The Deal by Elle Kennedy. So I messed up that intro. So today we're going to do a book review, and it is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. So it's just a very heartwarming romance. It's not a dark romance by any means. It's about a guy and a girl that go to the same college and basically make a deal with each other, end up falling for each other somewhat. And I don't think that's revealing too much, you know, because that's kind of what's expected in a romance novel. It's your typical romance. It's your typical, like, enemies to lovers romance trope. But let's go ahead and read the back, and then we'll talk about it. She's about to make a deal with the college bad boy, and it's going to be oh so good. Hannah Wells has finally found someone who turns her on. But while she might be confident in every other area of her life, she's carting around a full set of baggage when it comes to sex and seduction. If she wants to get her crush's attention, she'll have to step out of her comfort zone and make him take notice, even if it means tutoring the annoying, childish, cocky captain of the hockey team in exchange for a pretend date. Also, this is a hockey romance. So for all of you who don't know what is so sexual about hockey, watch a hockey game. Watch them warm up. Just Google it. Just Google how hockey players warm up. Just it's out there. Just search it. All Garrett Graham has ever wanted is to play professional hockey after graduation, but his plummeting GPA is threatening everything he's worked so hard for. If helping a sarcastic brunette make another guy jealous will lift his grades and secure his position on the team, he's all for it. But when one unexpected kiss leads to the wildest sex of both of their lives, a story of everybody's life, right? It doesn't take long for Garrett to realize that pretend isn't going to cut it. Now he just has to convince Hannah that the man she wants looks a lot like him. And this, of course, is book 1 in the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. So there's the mistake, the score, the goal, and the legacy for the rest of the series. Let's see, I rated this book about 3.5 out of 5 stars. It has, let's see, 45, sorry, you guys, I write this in here, 45 chapters plus 1 epilogue and 1 bonus chapter, bonus scene with 588 pages. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I might well read this again or read more in the series, just because when you're reading stuff like Hunting Adeline and it gets very, very dark, or you're reading dark romances, you know, I try, depending on how dark the romance is, or the romance novel, or the novel in and of itself, I try to kind of break that up with something like this, which is very lighthearted, very cute, very Hallmark Channel-y, right? I have to say, this book is really cute. There's a lot of funny moments in here. It's your pretty stereotypical romance. I mean, I feel like it's very well written. A little bit cheesy at times, but I think a lot of these romance novels are. There is some detailed sex scenes in here. Some detailed sensuality, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's explicit. It's detailed, but it's not explicit. And I think if you know the difference between that, if you know, you know. But there's little to no violence. I mean, I think I will give a trigger warning for this. There is, later on in the book, there is some hints of domestic violence, and there are some, I don't want to say some hints of it, but there's some inferences to that. So it's not explicitly said. It is, well, no, it is kind of. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but if that bothers you, then just be aware that that's kind of sprinkled throughout this book. Garrett Graham, his father was a professional hockey player and was not a very good guy. Let's just put it that way. Was not a good father, was not a good husband, is not a good boyfriend, is not a good guy to the people around him. It's not like super graphic. There are no, I mean, other than like Garrett's memories, there's nothing super violent that happens that I can recall in the book. So there's none of that. It's just, it's hinted at, it's inferred, it's it's kind of like it's talked about, but it would be like off screen. So like it's referenced, but it's not shown. So there is that. There is also the issue of Hannah. The reason that she has issues with sex and seduction is because she was SA'd at 14 years old. She went to a party and a group of guys SA'd her pretty badly. And I'm going to kind of stop there with it because it's unjust what happened to her in her situation, and it's unjust in most of the situations that happen with SA and grape. You know, I just, especially when they're not believed, or, you know, they are made to be the bad guy in the situation when it's completely the opposite. And I feel for women who go through that, women and men, because it does happen to men too. But if this is about her kind of coming back from that. So when it says she's finally found someone who turns her on, what that means is she has a hard time being attracted to men after what happened to her, which is understandable. And I think a lot of grape victims or SA victims can relate to that. It's hard to want to be intimate with somebody else after that happens to you, after that's taken from you in such a violent manner. But this is kind of, I mean, it doesn't go too much into like her journey with that. Again, this is something that's referenced, that's talked about, but it's not detailed. You know, you do learn like what happened to her and who it was, and you do learn what came of all of that, but it's not something that is explicitly described in the book. It's not something where she talks about going to therapy and dealing with it extensively. She's more trying to, she finally found the guy that she finds attractive, and it's not Garrett, it's somebody else. And, you know, she basically is using Garrett to try and get this other guy's attention, and then falls for Garrett. And it's very heartwarming in the fact that, especially, I will say, especially how he treats her once he finds out about her past. You know, I think if we have more men like that, honestly, and more men that stood up and said that grape and SA is not okay, the world would be a much better place. But there is that with the book. I think you need to know that. I don't know if she put trigger warnings in here. Well, it says content warning. Book contains mentions of domestic violence and sexual assault. Please be advised before reading. So, like I said, there are mentions, but it's more like referenced. It's not like nothing extremely graphic, extremely detailed. It's not like Hunting Adeline or Haunting Adeline. It's not like a dark romance would have that kind of stuff in it. So, I thought this was a pretty good book. I rated it 3 out of 5. Like, it's not terrible. I don't know that it grabbed me as much as some other books have, but it was definitely a good book to read. I read Haunting Adeline, and then I read this book. And, you know, and now that I've read Haunting Adeline is just not that bad. But it's not as bad as you think it is when you get to the second book. But it's a nice break. And I like romances like this because you can predict what's going to happen. You can predict going into it based on the two characters that are described on the back. He's like, okay, Hannah Wells is our heroine and Garrett Graham is our hero, and somehow they're going to fall in love and they're going to get together. And that is pretty much what happens. So it's just kind of going along on the journey. And I do think it's pretty well written. I think it's pretty realistic in most aspects. You know, I think there are a lot of people out there dealing with the issues that both Hannah and Garrett have, and I think this could be healing for you to read this and kind of read their story and say like, wow, like you know, maybe it's a little therapeutic, but it could also be triggering. So, there is that. But I thought it was really just a heartwarming story, and I loved how they came together. You know, like I said, it's really cheesy, but like, I think we all like a good cheesy Hallmark romance movie, you know, especially the Christmas movies. Like, sometimes they're so bad that they're good, and I wouldn't say that this book is bad, but it's cheesy, but it's cheesy in a good way, you know. It's cheesy in a way that you just kind of like, aw, you know, and it gives you, you know, good feelings inside. And there are other characters who go through things that end up receiving help, or they end up realizing things about themselves, and they grow along the way, and so do Hannah and Garrett. And I think it's pretty well written. I think it's worth a read. yeah, I don't know. I wanted to get into hockey romances, so that's why I picked up this book. I don't remember if I had heard something about this book or not, but I believe I just saw it at the store or saw it online, and I was like, cool. Cool. But I do recommend. I mean, I think it's worth a read. Like I said, just be cautious of, you know, the domestic violence and the sexual assault mentions, because obviously if that's going to be something that triggers you, that bothers you, this may not be the romance book for you. In that case, I might actually recommend Riley Thorne series, because that series is actually pretty hysterical. That's pretty comedic and funny to me. I've only read one book, but it's pretty funny. There's romance, there's sex, there's murder, there's you know, crime and stuff like that, mystery and suspense, all that good stuff. But yeah, let me know if you have read this book and what you think of it in the comments below. I rated it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Let me know what if you've read it, what you would rate it. I will be posting a more detailed review over on my blog, which is linked on my website, which is linked on my website, which is linked in my description box of every single one of my videos. It's beautifullyfearless.com, www.beautifullyfearless.com. So you can go check that out. I always post more detailed book reviews over there, just because I like to keep video reviews kind of vague, because that's how I like video reviews. I may change that in the future. I may like do a little bit more, but I don't know. I don't know. We're seeing right now. We're kind of playing around with stuff. But yeah, I liked this book. It was okay. It wasn't terrible. I mean, it was a 3.5. It's kind of a little bit better than mediocre, right? It's not A Court of Thorns and Roses, okay? It's not Haunting Adeline, all right? It's not the Fourth Wing series, okay? It's not the Anita Blake series, all right? It's nothing like very sexually graphic and violent, and that probably says too much about me, not good things. But yeah, I think it's worth a read, definitely. But let me know if you've read it, what you thought, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. No matter what you think, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, let me know what you think in the comments below, because I am eager to hear your thoughts and opinions about this book. If you've ever read anything by Elle Kennedy and you absolutely loved it, put it in the comments. I am curious to hear that too. Give me book recommendations. Any of my book reviews, you can leave book recommendations in the comments. I'm curious as to what y'all are reading, what y'all would like me to read, if you think that I would like something, if you just want to hear me review something, if you just want to hear my thoughts on it, put that in the comments too. I don't care. You know, put it in there. But yeah, don't forget to go follow me over on the Instagram. I will, of course, include a full list of everything I wore, all my makeup for this book review, in the description box below. If you have any other questions besides that, you can always put them in the comments. Message me over on Instagram. Like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video, because you never know what kind of content's going to pop up over here on this channel. I thank y'all so much for watching. I love y'all very, very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!